In this lecture, we will be discussing about mobile app testing. मतलब वेब एप्लीकेशन टेस्टिंग हम लोगों ने बहुत सारे एग्जाम्पल देख लिए, उसमें कुछ टाइप्स भी देखे. बट नाउ हम लोग जो टेस्टिंग में जाएंगे वो साइमल्टेनियसली जाएंगे, जहाँ पे विल बी डिस्कसिंग अबाउट वेबसाइट एज वेल एज मोबाइल एप्स. तो मोबाइल ऐप टेस्टिंग में हाउ वी कैन टेस्ट इट, and कुछ factors which you have to add in your document, project document as well, जो steps आप follow करोगे. That is what we will be discussing now about a mobile app testing. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So the initial ones that you had shown, the three, that was the paid one. I can't remember the name. Starting में जो आपने lecture के दिखाया था ना तीन.
हाँ.
Websites यहाँ पे testing कर सकते हैं. Those are based only for websites, or they can be used for the applications as well.
नहीं, they are there for both the things, but एक जो last जो था that was for a mobile. जो थर्ड वाला मैंने बताया था, और उसमें दे आर बेसिकली डूइंग डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ टेस्टिंग. अगर लोड टेस्टिंग के लिए द थर्ड वन वाज द मेन लोड आरओ करके कुछ तो था, लोडर आरओ करके. सो दैट वाज फॉर स्ट्रेस और लोड टेस्टिंग के लिए दे वर द बेस्ट. और बाकी जो दो थे वो उनके हिसाब से अलग अलग टाइप के टेस्टिंग जो पॉइंट्स थे वो आपको प्रोवाइड कर रहे थे ऑन द लाइव प्रोजेक्ट.
ओके, सो सर हम लोग एप्लीकेशन के लिए भी यूज कर सकते हैं ना उन्हें, एप्स के लिए?
या ऑफ कोर्स वी कैन डू दैट on both the, yeah.
Sir, like in Selenium, like the one we had seen a video, usme we was like he had shown an example wherein he had coded all of it. So in these cases, like the video, a small introduction video on the website, it had a code written. So that was written by the the website only. Like it's developed in such a way, or we have to write the test cases separately?
No. That is the main thing. They are providing you, they are charging you because we don't have to write any much thing. Just upload it. You will get an option to go for a load test. You have an option to go for stress test. Just click on it and click on test. That's it. It will generate an automatic result for you. So it's simple हो गया. So that's why they are charging you now for like $350 a month. So that's a quite a huge charge. तो वो उसी के लिए ले रहा है क्योंकि सिलेनियम में मैन्युअली जहाँ पे हम लोग को कुछ चीजें लिखना पड़ रहा है वो हम लोग को नहीं लिखना पड़ेगा, of course. But for a customized application in big MNCs, they hire such testers itself who will be writing such test cases. So about if you can just learn to write those test cases, you will definitely get a good job in automation testing. So that is required. And second most important thing in today's time, we always think about mobile apps. So how can we test mobile applications? What are the steps which we should focus on? So वही एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल लेंगे अभी हम लोग, क्योंकि वेबसाइट्स एंड सिंपल एप्लीकेशंस के बारे में बहुत सारा देखा है. नाउ विल हैव अ लुक एट मोबाइल एप्स. सो प्लीज हैव अ लुक.
ओके सर.
Appium, and we're going to automate this whole thing. So before we jump in, let me just give you a quick overview on the topics that I am going to cover with you guys today. So firstly, we're going to see what is Appium, because that is the tool that we are going to be using for automation testing. Then we're going to discuss a few features of Appium, which makes it such a lucrative tool. Above that, we are also going to discuss the necessities of testing in today's industry. And then we will start with setting things up on our machine. And you can follow me along and do the tests. And this will give you guys a quick guide as to how to write a test script and how to automate it using Appium's inspector and emulator that you can easily set up with this guide. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, our first topic for today is, what is Appium? Well, Appium is an open source cross-platform automation testing tool. It is used for automation test cases for native, hybrid, and web applications. The tool has a major focus on both Android and iOS apps, and was only restricted to the mobile application testing domain. Recently, a few updates back, Appium also announced that they will support the testing of desktop applications for Windows. Appium is developed and maintained by Sauce Labs. Currently, Appium 1.12 is being distributed by Appium.io. Now, Appium first started off as a command line-based testing service that can be installed using Node.js. This only means that before using Appium, Node.js is a prerequisite. So in their latest release named Appium Desktop, they have released a robust and refined tool with an intuitive graphical user interface. And this tool comes along with a thing called the Appium Element Inspector, which we will get to how to use and why it is used just in this video. Okay, so that was a brief introduction to our tool of use today, and that is Appium. If you guys want to learn more about Appium as a tool, you guys should check out my Appium tutorial video, in which I have actually discussed the installation of Appium on multiple devices and how Appium architecture works according to the documentation and how everything just joins in to the whole automation testing process. Okay, so moving on, let us discuss the features that make Appium such a lucrative tool. Okay, so first of all, Appium is a cross-platform tool in all its senses. First of all, Appium runs on both Windows and Mac, and it is also cross-platform in the sense that we can test applications that run on both Android and iOS, and now even the desktop apps that run on Windows. So it is in all true senses cross-platform. Above that, it works on the JSON wire protocol. Also, as a testing app, it has the no recompilation feature. Most testing apps like Robotium, for example, needs you to recompile your app every time you make a small change and you try to test it. On the other hand, Appium has this whole no recompilation of the app. So that saves you a bunch of time. Above that, Appium supports the testing of applications on both physical devices as well as simulators and emulators both. This not only allows you to do some testing that is efficiently done on simulators and emulators like load testing, for example, where you have to load thousands of virtual users to see how your application loads under such stress levels. On the other hand, you can also test out the physical device functionalities, which can be only tested on the physical device, like how an application behaves when it is interrupted by a call or it is interrupted by an SMS, or how an application behaves when it's trying to send some data over Bluetooth and all that sort of thing. So Appium has you all covered for all sorts of automation testing, whether it be iOS, Android, whether it be some native feature or some other feature like load testing. Okay, so let's move on and also discuss why we need testing as a discipline in today's industry before we move on to start and actually testing an Android app. Okay, so first of all, testing is really essential for customer reliability. It is essential since it makes sure of customer reliability and their satisfaction in the application. It is very important to ensure the quality of the product. Quality of the product delivered to the customer helps in gaining their confidence and in return helps you gain market value. Above that, testing is required for effective performance of software, application, or product. It requires effective performance measured to stay in the business. Above that, it's important to ensure that application should not result into any failures because it can be very expensive in the future or in later stages of development to actually mitigate critical bugs. So testing is necessary in order to identify these bugs at an early stage and so that you can work around these bugs in a practical manner without spending a lot of money, of course. So testing is necessary in order to provide the facilities to the customer, like the delivery of high quality product or software application, which requires low maintenance cost and hence results in more accurate, consistent, and reliable results. Okay, so that was all about the theoretical part for today's video. Now let's go ahead and set things up. So first of all, we will be needing a few things to actually go ahead and test our application that we are going to do. So heads up, this is not going to be some complex testing where we are going to test gestures or stuff like that. This will just give you guys a quick idea on how to load up an application onto Appium, inspect it with the inspector, record the inspection that you're doing, use that recorded inspection in a test script, and automate the whole thing. So for today, we are going to use the Android calculator app because it is simple and it drives home a point that I am trying to get across to you. Okay, so moving on. So the first thing that we are going to do is open up our browser and we are going to first download a few things. So let's maximize this. Now, first of all, we need an Android device. Now, since I don't have an Android device and it is only safe to assume that you also don't have an Android device, we can do one thing, and that is download an emulator. Now, there are a lot of emulators out there in the market today, but I'm going to stick to the one that comes with Android Studio. So first of all, let's head over to Android Studio. So just Google Android Studio, and the first link should be the place where you can download this software. So to download Android Studio, all you have to do is click the download button and agree to the terms and conditions, and your download should start. Now I'm going to cancel this download because I already have this installed on my computer. And if you have some trouble downloading and installing Android Studio, you can go ahead and check out some few tutorials that will actually help you set up the environment variables and whatnot. Okay, so that was about Android Studio. The next thing that we will be needing is an IDE so that we can write our test script. So since I'm going to be using Java to write my test script, the best IDE that we can possibly get for ourselves is today Intellij. So let's head over to Intellij. So to download Intellij, just Google Intellij, and that will bring up the Intellij website. So out here, you can go ahead and click on the download button, and this will get you to the download page. Now you will see two versions out here, the ultimate version, and this is for only enterprises. And this is the community version. I suggest you go ahead and download the community version if you're looking for a free subscription. But if you're an enterprise that is actually looking to invest in an IDE, I would suggest that you go for the ultimate version. So you can go ahead and download this, and this will also get downloaded. Now, all you have to do is download it and set it up. It's a really easy setup. And if you get confused, you can watch some other video to actually help you through that. Now, I'm going to cancel this one also because I already have that installed. And if you can see out here, this is what it looks like. If you guys can see, I already have a project set up, and this is where we are going to do our coding today. I have a project started up in the project view. If you can change the view from here to packages, project file, and stuff. So I have named my project Automation Testing Demonstration because that's exactly what we're going to do today. Other than that, you also need Appium, of course. So to download Appium, all you have to do is go ahead and go to appium.io and click on download Appium out here. Now this will take you to the GitHub page of Appium, and as you guys can see, the latest release is 1.12.0. And you can go down and scroll out here, and you can install it on a Mac by just downloading the DMG file. And since I'm going to be running Windows, I'm going to download the .exe file. Now I already have this downloaded, but all you have to do is click on this link and install the software, and that will be all. So let me just open Appium for you guys. So let's just open this. Things might take a little time to open up on my laptop because I am also recording at this moment, and all these processes like the IDE, the emulator, and Appium in itself can be a little resource heavy for my laptop. So just have some patience with me. Let's see if Appium has started up. Okay, so this is what Appium looks like. You can start a server by just clicking on Start Server. You can go to Advanced, and you can run the server on a separate port, on a separate server address. And there are lots of other customizations that you can get into. But for today, that is not the focus. Today, we are focusing on how you can use this particular tool to actually automate your test cases. So above that, let's go ahead and start up Android Studio. So let's go ahead and start this up. So we are going to be using Android Studio just for the emulator purposes because I find the emulator to be quite efficient. You can use some other emulator if you want, and that is all up to you. It doesn't really matter. So let's just wait for Android Studio to pop up. Okay, so opening up Android Studio should give you the stip box. I suggest you can keep the stip box. I don't really like it. So let's going to close that. So all you have to do to open up your emulator is go into Tools and go into Avd Manager. Now I have already set it up out here. And as you guys can see, I have a Pixel 2 emulator going on. But if you don't have one, you can go ahead and click this Create New Virtual Device button out here, and it will give you a bunch of devices that you can emulate out here. You have your Wear OSs, you have your TVs, you have your tablets, and you can emulate a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we are going to be using it on a phone. So that is what we are going to be doing. Our phone is going to be running Android 9.0, which is basically API 26, if I remember. So let's go ahead and boot up our emulator. Okay, our emulator is booting up. Okay, as you guys can see, our emulator has boot up and it looks exactly like an Android device as it should. You have your soft touch keys out here, which is the multitasking key, the home key, and the back key. You also have your notification bar, which you can drag down with your mouse like this, and it should have all these things installed on it. It should pretty much come with all sorts of basic applications. And one of those basic applications is, of course, our calculator. So we are going to be testing out this calculator for its interactions, but it is kind of a redundant test that we're doing, but this is for educational purposes, so it's okay. Now, what we are going to be testing is how the calculator actually interacts, and we're going to try and build up a test case on that. So to build up a test case, first of all, you need Appium. So we are going to be using Appium out here. Let's go ahead and start up a server. Now, let's go back and stop the server for once. Okay, so if you guys see, our server is running on our local host, that is 0.0.0.0 on port number 4723. Now, your local host is also found on the IP 127.0.0.1, if I'm not wrong. And so if you go to 127.0.0.1 and you go to port number 4723, you should be able to see the server Appium that is running. Okay, so let's start up our server. And once you start up your server, you will get the screen which says, welcome to Appium 1.1.2.1. And this is a Appium RESTful HTTP interface listener that has started on this particular address. Okay, now what we want to do is firstly start up and inspect the session. So this is the Appium inspector that I was talking about. Now the Appium inspector is basically a place that you can inspect an application and go through the element hierarchy so that you can test each of the elements. So without explaining much, let me just give you guys a quick demonstration on how this works. So the first thing that you have to do is tell Appium what you are trying to test. So you do that by sending Appium some desired capabilities. So desired capabilities is basically just a way of you to tell the tool of what you want to do. For one, you have to tell the tool the device name that you are doing your testing on. So we are going to pass a desired capability field called device name. So all you have to do in order to find out your device name is go ahead on command prompt, and all you have to do out here is type in the command adb/space devices. So ADB is a driver that you have to install if you want to do any sort of Android development, and you can easily go ahead and Google that out. So we find it out here that our list of devices is told to us with this command, and our device is called Emulator-55554. So that's exactly what we're going to enter here. So Emulator-55554. Now, as you guys can see, a JSON representation is sent to the app. Now, if you guys don't know what a JSON representation is, it's basically a key and a value pair. So that's exactly how Appium is going to take in this information. Now, another thing that we have to tell Appium is the platform name. So the platform name is basically telling Appium if it's an Android device or an iOS device. Above that, we also have to tell Appium about the application that we're trying to test. So out here, what exactly you have to do is give Appium the app package name and the activity name. So first of all, have to give app package. So that's how you type it in and find out the app package. It's pretty simple. Actually. What we do is start up a log file. So we start up this log file by saying adb logcat. So this will get up a log file going on right out here. Now what we want to do is go on to our emulator and start up our logcat, and then we want to launch our calculator. So our logs will have the launching activity and the package name of our calculator. So for that, we can go ahead and start up our logcat. And as you guys can see, this is just generating a bunch of logs of all the processes happening. Now, all you want to do is go ahead and start up the calculator on the emulator, and then quickly go back to our command prompt window and just press Ctrl+C. And this will actually stop the log from generating. Okay, now all you have to do is find the name of your application package in this log file. Now, if you guys have already not realized, this is quite the cumbersome process because this is not a good way to go through a log file. So what you can do is basically dump all this information into another file. So for doing that, firstly, let me go into my desktop out here, and let's see, let's get a directory. Okay, so you see that there's a dump.txt. So let me just go ahead and delete the dump.txt. So that's done. Let me just go ahead and give you guys a view of my directory. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so now all you have to do is run this command adb logcat, and then you want to give this little greater than sign. Then you want to tell your shell which file you want to actually dump all this into. So we're going to create a log file .txt, and all our log is going to be actually transferred into this file. So let's go ahead and quickly just quit the calculator. Okay, this is a little slow of an emulator, but this is the best I can do at this moment. So again, what you want to do is you want to go ahead into the menu. Firstly, you want to start up your log file, and out here you want to just go ahead and start up your calculator. And as soon as it starts up, let this screen come, you want to come here and press Ctrl+C. Now, if we go ahead and check our directories, we will see that we have a log file.txt out here. So let me just ensure that indeed, yep, we have a log file.txt. Let's just open that up. Now it becomes really easy to find things out here because all you have to do is press Ctrl+F, and this thing comes up. Now all you have to do is find the activity keyword. So we are going to find this word for activity. So we can't find it up. So let's go and down. Find next. So see, the first find gave us our launch activity. So out here what you see is com.android.2 calculator2. That is the package name of the calculator that is installed on the emulator. So this is the package, and this is the launcher activity in that package. So we need to give both these information to Appium so that it will know which application we are testing today. So let's copy that down. Let's go back to Appium and let's just paste it out here. So com.android.calculator2 is the package name. We also need another field that says app activity, and this is going to be .calculator. So let's just copy that from here, just paste it out here. Another field that we need to add is a Boolean field. So this is called no reset. So no reset is a Boolean field, so you have to go ahead and change that to Boolean, and you have to set it to true. So no reset means every time you go ahead and test your application in a new way, it will not reset the application. Okay, so all you have to do now is go ahead and say start session. So let me go ahead and quit this application. Okay, now what you will see is calculator will get invoked again by Appium. So there you go, you see the calculator pop up, which was not done by me. This was done by Appium. Now this screen that you see out here is the Appium inspector. Okay, so let me just give you guys a quick run through of all the elements of this part of the screen. So what you see out here is an actual screenshot of your emulator. Now this could be an actual screenshot of your device too. The screenshot of your device does not have a live update. So suppose you go ahead and drag this out, it will not be shown out here. If you want that to be shown out here, you can go ahead and press the refresh button out here, and you will see that the screenshot gets updated. Now, on the screenshot, you have this yellow little box, which shows how each element is placed. So you can select any element, and this will show you a bunch of details about the element. This will tell you how the element is known in the application. So this is the ID it is known by. This is the X path it is known by. This is the element ID, the index, and text is basically the field that has in it. So the text is at the moment 9, it says. And then there's the Android.widget.button. That is the class of this element. Okay. Now we have three kinds of inspectors. So firstly, there is an element inspector. So it will allow you to select elements. Other than that, we can swipe by coordinates like this. So you can see that there's an X coordinate and a Y coordinate, and we can do that, and we can test for swipes. Now, this doesn't exactly do much at this moment, but if you were to go ahead and swipe like this, let's see. So swiping from here to here should actually close this thing. Okay, so that's how you test for swipe gestures. But for now, we also have tap by coordinate. So if you tap out here, this should actually tap on 9, and that should also be reflected on your emulator. So out here, let me just give you guys a quick view. So you press 6, and you see and the emulator already has 6 up there, and it's just updating the screenshot. So that is for tapping with coordinates. Okay, so let me just go ahead and delete everything out here. So this will also refresh it here. Now the main purpose of the Appium inspector is so that you can record your inspections and you can make a test script out of that. So how do you do that? Firstly, there's a start recording button. So out here, let me just show it to you. If you go ahead and press start recording, it'll tell you perform some actions to see code show up here. So suppose you wanted to test an arithmetic operation on your calculator to see whether it was working properly. So there are 4 arithmetic operations, and firstly, let's try and test out addition. So what we want to do is go into the select element part. Now out here, let's do some basic arithmetic operations. So what we want to do is, let's say 20. So out here, if you just go ahead and select 2, you will see that 2 pops up in the ID. Now you can go ahead and press tab, send keys, and clear. So send keys is basically if you want to go ahead and type something. Now tap is basically just going to execute a tap on your mobile phone. So if you just go ahead and see out here, it has already tapped 2. That's correct. And the thing that I want you to notice is that this piece of code has popped up out here. So this piece of code is in Java. Now you can also do this in Python, Ruby, and the robot framework. But for now, today we are going to be using Java. So let's press some more buttons. So after we press 2, we want to go ahead and press 5 and go ahead and press tab. So we are going to be doing 25 plus 39 today. And so 25 plus 39 will give you 64, if I'm not wrong. If I'm that bad at math, let's just see. So we want to go ahead and press plus and send tab again. And our code for the same is going to pop up out here. So we're going to be using this code to actually build up on our test script. So 25 plus, what you want to do is 39. So you press 3 and you press tab out here. Okay, so then you also want to press 9. Now out here, you see that 64 has come up, which was the answer that I gave you all. I'm pretty good at maths, I guess. Now 64 is the predicted value. Now you want to actually get this up on your screen. So you also have to press the equals to button and you have to press tab. Okay, so this brings us to the answer of this arithmetic operation. And you can go ahead and select the 64 part, and you will see that it is known as com.android.calculator, and it is ID/result. So that is the ID of this part of the application. Now what we want to do is we are going to copy this code, and we are going to go into our IDE out here. And we're going to go on our SRC folder, and we're going to go and say we need a new Java class. So we're going to name this class automation testing. Okay, we are naming a class. I'm sorry. Let's call this automation. So we have a class called automation. So this is Java. So let's go ahead and start up our code. So firstly, we need a main function. So public static void main and string args. So that is our argument string. And what we want to do out here is open up our main function and paste in this piece of code. Now, if you guys can see out here, our mobile element has gone red, our driver has gone red. So this means that those classes are actually not imported into our script that we are currently writing. So just click on mobile element, press Alt and enter. So we want to press the left Alt and enter. So it says create class out here. Okay, another thing we have to do before we actually go ahead and start making our, so all you have to go ahead and do is hit Alt and enter. Okay, so it says create class, create num. Okay, so there seems to be no option of import. And that is because we have not configured our project to actually work with Appium. So to So for our project to work with Appium, we also need to go ahead and make a few downloads. First of all, firstly, we need to go ahead and make a new file. So if you see, this is kept in under this address. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to this PC. We're going to try and locate this particular address. So it's under users, it's under RFall, it's under ideal projects. So out here you can see automation testing demonstration, and out here you will see an src file. Now what we want to do is create a new file and just create a new folder, and we're going to name it lib. So this will contain all our libraries. Now what you want to do out here is go ahead and close this. Now for this to actually, okay, I did a mistake. So you need to create the library into the source folder. Okay, so let's just move our library into the source folder. So that goes and does it. So we have to create our library into the source folder. So please don't make that mistake that I just did. Now all you want to do is go ahead and open up your browser and perform a few downloads. And the first download we need is our Appium client libraries. So go ahead and go to appium.io. And out here, you have to go into the downloads section, which is just below the download button. Out here, if you see, we have all the language bindings and the client libraries, as you might call them. So we are using Java today. So that is exactly what we are going to be downloading. Go ahead and click this small little download button and download the jar file. So you want to keep this. And then again, there's another thing that you need to download. For them, you need to go to the site called Selenium HQ. And just Google that. And you want to go ahead and go to the downloads page. Out here, you want to download the standalone server from Selenium. That is the version 3.141. And download that. You want to keep it. You also have to download the Java file. So download that. And we also need another thing. Okay, let's just go ahead and download it right now. So there's a thing called Lang3, which we'll be using. It is a Java file. It's a library, actually. So just go ahead and go to this page, the first page that opens up when you Google Lang3. Now go ahead and hit the downloads button and just download the zip file. Okay, so that is downloaded. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up in our download folder. So we have our Selenium, we have the Selenium Java files, and we have our Lang3. So let's go ahead and cut these out and go to our desktop. Now let's create a new folder. Okay, so out here, what you want to do is name this folder anything that you want. Let's go ahead and call this things we need. Right, let's go ahead and open up that folder, paste all these here. Now what you want to do is, let me just rename these for my own purpose and preempt that. Let's rename this also. Let's rename this too. Okay, now what we want to do is Selenium Java, and we want to actually extract all the files. So let's extract to this other folder. So this is the folder, and we also want to extract our commons.lang. That's using 7-zip, so we're going to extract it to this folder again. You can go ahead and delete these off now, since we have extracted them. Now, all you want to do is go into the Selenium file and get out the libs. And under the libs folder, you want to select everything, cut it out, go back to your main folder and paste it here. And go into commons, and all you want to do is take these 5 files, cut them out, and paste them here. Now, all you can do is take these 2 files and delete them because we won't be needing them anymore. Fine, now these are all the libraries that we will be adding to our application today so that we can test it out properly. Okay, so to add these things to our application, go ahead and copy these, select them all, copy these, go back to our IDE, go into the libs folder, right click on it, and just paste. Okay, now you'll see that this arrow pops up when you paste it, and all our files have been successfully pasted. Just select them all, right click on it, and add as library. Now you want to add them as a global library. Okay, so once that is done, if you go ahead and click Alt Enter again on your mobile element, just go ahead and do that. So you get this import class option now, so you can go ahead and import the class. Now, before we go ahead, I want to just show you guys that we need to also give Appium the desired capabilities. So for that, we need to go ahead and create the desired capabilities object. So desired capabilities DC equals new desired capabilities, and that's how you do it. Out here, what you want to do is set up your capabilities. So for that, we can use the function set capability. And out here, you want to give the first device name. So mobile capability type and dot device name. And in the device name, you want to give the emulator's name. So emulator 5554. So as you guys can see, this says this is a value and this is the key to that. Now you want to go ahead and set up some more capabilities. So dc.set capability. And what we want to say is platform name now. So you can go ahead and say platform name and comma. You can say this is Android. Fine. So we can go ahead and copy this down because we will be needing the same function in the same manner. Go ahead and copy that down and change platform name into app activity or the app package first of all. Now the app package is again in this file out here, so you can go ahead and copy this from here. So com.android.calculator2. So go ahead and copy that and put this out here in under Android. So that sets up the app package. We also need to set up the app activity. So dc.set capability, and what we want to say is app activity. Let's see, I'll spell that right, app activity, and you want to give the value as dot calculator. Go ahead and copy that and paste this out here. So this sets up our desired capabilities. Now you also need to go ahead and tell the program where your Appium server is set up. For that, we need to set up our driver. So all you have to say is Android driver, and you say it's of type Android element. Oh my God, that's wrong. So Android element, and you say, let's see, we are going to name this new AD equals new. So Android driver, Android element, and out here you want to set a URL. So URL, and so your URL will be, let's see, it ran on localhost, right? So our URL will be, so it's a new URL. I forgot the new keyword, so new URL. HTTPS, it's actually HTTP, I guess, because it doesn't run on a secure HTTP version. So HTTP : and slash, so 127.0.0.1, and on port number 4723, if I'm not wrong. And this is going to go through WD hub, I guess. Let me just go ahead and check that out here. So it is going to be WD/hub. Out here, and then you also have to pass in your desired capabilities object, and that is DC, as we had just set up. And so don't forget your semicolons. Fine. Now if you see our URL has gone red out here, so all you can do is go ahead and press Alt Enter, and that will import the class url.java.net. Again, you have an underline around it, so it's an unhandled exception. You can go ahead and add that exception too, right? So if you see, the IDE has gone ahead and imported all the drivers and elements and the packages that we need for this particular test. So go ahead and replace the driver keyword with the driver object that you've made. So AD, and AD out here. Okay. Since we have set up only the part of the script that is going to go ahead and bring us to this result part. Now, out here, there is no way to actually assert this result. So to assert the result, we need an assert function. So to do that, what you need to do is go ahead and include an assert function. So you say assert equals, we want to say ad.find element by ID, and the ID of the element is basically you get that ID of the element from the Appium inspector. So that is com.android.calculator, and result. So let me just go ahead and paste that here. And you also want to get the text from this part of the field. So you want to go ahead and include the get text function ahead of this. So all of this will go through the get text, or no, not the tag name, get text, right? And what you are expecting. So the second argument that you are going to be putting is what you are actually expecting. So for now, we are going to be expecting a 64 because that is the addition that is going to happen. But what do you see out here that assert is not being recognized? So if I go ahead and press Alt Enter, it says create class. So this means we need a new package out here. Now to get this new package, we need to open up a project structure. So press Shift twice and just search for project structure. Okay, out here, go into libraries, go hit the plus button out here, go from Maven, and all we need to search for is a test ng library. So go ahead and search for org.test ng. So this will actually bring up a test, bunch of libraries that can go with the name of org.test ng. Now we need it for our assert function. So this search can take a little bit of time because it's a little slow. So just hang on with me. Okay, so what you see out here is all the test ng. So we need org.test ng and 6.1.14.13. Oh, this one, 6.14.3. So this is what we are going to be using. Go ahead and press OK. We are going to be using it on automation testing demonstration. Go ahead and press OK, press apply, press OK. And now all you have to do is go on assert and press Alt Enter. And you can see import class pop up, and then you go and import the class. And as you guys can see, org.testng.assert has been actually imported. Now all you have to do is run this script. So our assert is missing a semicolon. Okay, let's go ahead and add that. Now all you need to do is go ahead and run this. Now when I run this, everything will be automated as to what we just did. So let me just go ahead and close our inspector session. Let's close this inspector window. Out here, you will see some activity pop up, and everything will be automated on this emulator. So let me just go ahead and show you the magic. So go back to our IDE, go to run, and let's run this thing. So this will build it, and you can see all the activity out here. I'll keep my mouse in the center so you know I'm not lying, and this everything is getting automated. Okay, so our compilation has finished. There's 0 warnings. There's my mouse in the center of the screen. So let's see if everything opens up. So first things first, our calculator should pop up. Okay, our calculator has started launching. Now 25 should be pressed by the calculator. So let's see, 2 and 5 get pressed. After that, it should press the plus button, and it should press 39 now. 39 gets pressed, it should press equal to, and our test case has stopped running. So we have automated this entire test case, and our test has actually successfully passed. Now, if you didn't have a test that successfully passed out here, you would see all these things pop up with red instead of blue. And also, I'll show you a way to actually make this test case fail. So let's just go ahead and give it some wrong answer out here. Okay, now, okay, so as you guys can see, detected dialect is W3C, so expected 64, but found 64. So this is the way you know that your automation test has actually passed. But another thing that you can also do out here is give a wrong value, and then let's go ahead and run that again. So run automation. So this should quit our calculator automatically and run this whole thing again. So there you go, our calculator has been quit, and this should start up our calculator again automatically. There you go, our calculator has popped up. And as you guys can see, my mouse is in the center of the screen. I'm not pressing anything. 25 just got pressed on the computer, and then 39 is going to get pressed, and our Appium has crashed. And this is because if you guys can go and see out here, automation, you see there is an exit code, and it says it gives you a lot of errors because an element could not be located on the page given using the search parameters. Okay, so this means our test has failed. Out here, you can see all the failures that have happened just because of this one error. Now you can go ahead and press 64 out here. Okay, so let's just put in 64 because that is the intended result. And let me just show it to you again how the code runs. So we go ahead and go into run and we say run automation. And let's just bring up our emulator. So as you guys can see, this is the emulator. This is my mouse out here on the left-hand side. And you'll see that I'm not doing anything and calculator has popped up again. We are going to press the buttons that we intended. It's 25 plus 39. And then we press equals to and 64 and process I finished with exit code 0. That means no errors. First time we got an error because we actually didn't put the quotation marks on 64. So that's why it was saying expected 64 but found 64 because it was just not getting the string. Other than that, when we put in 70, we got a bunch of errors because that is not what we were expecting. Above that, when we put in the correct value and that we are expecting, our test case has actually passed. And this was all done by automating it. Now, the beauty of this thing is that you can run the same test case or this test script on multiple devices and actually test your calculator for, let's say, Android 9 through Android 5 on multiple devices. And this will save you a bunch of time. So that is the lucrative options that you get with automation testing. So this brings us to the end of this Android application testing video with Appium. So I hope you guys learned something new today and you had fun automating your test cases. If you
Okay, so that is about mobile testing जो अभी हम लोगों ने समझा. At least if you can just give a glance to external कि आपने ऐसा automation testing किया हुआ है, that will definitely help you to fetch more marks. पूरा नहीं, ठीक है, एक दो पार्ट बताओ and just say to external कि we have less time. तो इतना हम लोगों ने ट्राई किया, अदर विल ट्राई. सो एटलीस्ट जहां जहां पे आपका ऑटोमेशन टेस्टिंग सक्सेसफुल हो सकता है, लाइक लॉग इन, साइन अप एंड मोर 1-2 एक्टिविटीज, वहां पे डाल दो. बाकी छोड़ दो अगर कहीं पे अगर बहुत ज्यादा एरर्स अगर बता रहा है या डिफिकल्ट लग रहा है. ओके, एनी डाउट्स एनीवन? ठीक है, सो आई विल स्टॉप टुडेज लेक्चर हियर देन.